Hello and welcome back. I'm Debbie, also known as Vale, and you have reached my channel about cross stitch. You can find me on Instagram at Vale the Stitcher, and you can find me on Etsy at valestitchery.etsy.com. I sell PDF patterns of fantasy and Halloween inspired designs. So it's been a week, you guys. It has been a week. Normally I film on Monday nights, and yesterday was just too much of a Monday. It was a ridiculous too much of a Monday. So it is Tuesday, April 21st. It is actually it's almost 5:30 p.m. now where I'm at. Pretty decent weather. This is the Phoenix metro area, and we're getting into the high 80s, flirting with the 90s at this point. So those luxurious walks outside to try and, beat the cabin fever are starting to get a little warm. And I don't even know if you can tell, but I actually have a little bit of a sunburn because I haven't been wearing sunscreen. So that's a problem. Anyways, we have some whips to go over. We have some plans to talk about. Not haul because my haul is delayed, which is fine. And then just some chit chat. So we will get to it. I have to say congratulations to Vale the Stitcher channel for filming 3 weeks in a row. So there we go. So last time we met, Monday, later that night, I continued stitching on Halloween at Hawk Run Hollow by Carriage House Samplings. Last time you saw it, it was a start. And I was starting right in the middle, right at the cauldron here. And so I continued working on it that night to get a little more progress. It was also the 13th, if I remember correctly. So this could definitely have been considered dark 13 stitching. Let me fold it up a little bit so that you can just see it. So here's where we got to. This is about 2 days of stitching, like a full day on Sunday, and then whatever bits of time I had on Monday. When you last saw it, the cauldron itself was done, like the gray and whatnot, and the red and orange flames were done, and I was working on the yellow flames. And then after that, I did the black, the bat, and then I started on some of the swirls. So this is being stitched on 40 count Country Mocha by Zweigart, 1 strand of floss over 2 threads of fabric. And I don't really have any goals for this. I think I mentioned before, I've just been starting all the things because that's what I need right now. But I would love to get that center panel finished. Once the center panel is finished, I basically have my choice of what block I would like to work on. So that is definitely a goal of mine to get done at some point in the near future. I love stitching on 40 count, so whenever I come back to any of my 40 count projects, it's always a really nice feeling. Although I have to say, whenever I go to like a 28 count project or insert other fabric here, it's always a nice change. So I do enjoy stitching on different types of fabric. The next thing I worked on this project on Tuesday and Wednesday, and this is Welcome to New York City by Country Magic Stitch. This was an impulse buy, and I saw it and I immediately thought of my sister who lives in New York City, and things have just been so horrendous there. She's been doing good though. She's been hanging in. And I really wanted to stitch this for her as a gift. Not for any particular occasion. I would just like to mail it to her someday. So this is full coverage. I actually have not counted exactly how many stitches this is going to be, but I am stitching this on 28 count, just a general even weave. And I am stitching it 2/1 tent stitch. because I want this to get done and be done. So this is the page 1, getting into page 2. Let me get my other hand. So this building goes into the next page, so I continued over here. I'm saving the Stay Push Marshmallow Man for last. So the last time you saw this, I had done all of that blue sky. I had started the building from the top left and was working my way down, and I had completed all of it fully, the top 2 rows, and I had outlined the windows of this 3rd row, and that's all that was there. So I finished the 3rd row, got the 4th row to the bottom of the page, and then worked on this building over here, finished it on the page, and then moved over to the next page. So that was only 2 days of stitching. And before that, I think the other portion was maybe 2 or 3 days of stitching, maybe. It just, because they're just blocks of color. And it's tent stitch, so it's stitching up very quickly, and this is a priority of mine. I would love to get this finished so that I could send it as a gift. So that was whip number 2. Whip number 3, I only worked on this on Thursday. So 1 day of stitching, really 1 evening of stitching. This is Night Walked Down by the Blue Flower. And I love this so much. This is me. All of this is me. The colors are me. The sentiment is me. And I'm going to put this up in my bedroom. I'm stitching this with mostly DMCs. Very few of the called fors. I am stitching her dress in the called for, which is, where is it? Seaweed. Gentle Arts Seaweed is her dress. It's a beautiful variegated green color. But most of the other colors I'm doing in DMC. So this has maybe a total of 3 stitching days on it so far. And since you saw it last week, I've only put in 1 day. So let's get this squared away. I am stitching this on 40 count truffle by Picture This Plus. So it's a 40 count Newcastle, and it's a really pretty, like, rosy pink color. Let me get this. So I've started in the middle, as you can see. I wanted to stitch her, and I wanted to stitch her kitty. So I basically started with her hair and worked my way down. The last time you saw it, I believe I may have started on the dress. I don't remember. But if I had started on the dress, I had probably reached the top 2 diamonds. So I've stitched all down below that, and then I started working on the kitty. And that's all I've gotten to so far. She's not coming back out this week, as I will discuss in plans. But I do love her so much. And if you look at this, it's like a fat quarter. This is only going to take up the top half. I'll have more of this fabric afterwards, which will be nice. Honestly, I have to say, I think every single piece of Picture This Plus fabric that I've gotten, I've loved. Even if it wasn't exactly like the photo, I think the one piece that I ordered and I was like, this is not what I thought, was Wren. It was just way more yellow than I thought it was supposed to be. And so I didn't use it for the project that it had been meant for, but having it in my stash, within, a month or 2, I had found a different pattern that would work for it. And since I already had the fabric and knew what it looked like, I didn't have to worry about ordering something that may come not as it looked on camera. But anyways, I enjoy that fabric quite a bit. So that was whip number 3. Whip number 4 came out on Friday, and it was out on Friday and Saturday. It was supposed to be out all weekend. This is Ex Machina, artwork by Chris Ortega, charted by Michelle of Heaven and Earth Designs. This is the very first HAED I ever started, and it's still my first love, and I still love working on it. I just have so many projects I want to do. So I originally started in the top left corner, worked my way around the stained glass clock window, and then I reached the very corner of the top of her hat in the top row, and I immediately, with Pattern Keeper, I just I just immediately went down to that page. So I'm currently working on her hat. And as you'll see, her hat has goggles on it, and it also has like a lacing up the front. So I am currently on that page, and my goal was to finish this page over the weekend. And if I had focused on it all through the remainder of Saturday and on Sunday, I know that I could have finished this page. Unfortunately, I got distracted, which I will talk about in a second. But I love this. I love this so much. So this is page 5 that I'm working. Page 5 of the amount of pages I've worked on this piece. So I would love to finish that page and do more, as I would on many of my projects. That's an 11 by 11 Q-snap, by the way, which I think I have an 11 by 11 and an 8 by 8, and I use my 8 by 8 if I'm working in a smaller area. Like if my 40 count projects, I like on an 8 by 8, and then like the 28 count 10 stitch over 1, I like doing on my 8 by 8. So the last whip I have is a design I'm working on for Vale Stitchery, and it had been started a little bit ago. I actually started stitching on this. I had already designed it, but I had started stitching on it after I finished Placid Island, which is the H.P. Lovecraft quote from Call of Cthulhu, and it has like a tentacle up the side. I had started stitching this right after that, but I needed to make some adjustments, and so I am stitching on this now that I've had a breakthrough. It's stretched a little wonky on the Q-snap, but anyway, I had a breakthrough on this, and so I decided I want to finish the door. And so I worked on it on Saturday evening, and then all day Sunday, and then yesterday when I had stitchy time, and then today. And I really I want to get the door done before I work on anything else. So this has just been out, and it's full coverage. It's full coverage, and I need to finish the stitching on it to determine, my final thoughts before moving on. It is being stitched on 32 count Belfast in Confederate Gray by Weeks Dye Works. And I picked this up at the attic when I was there. I wanted to say a couple of weeks ago, but honestly, I think it's been a month and a half or longer. It was like the very beginning of March when I got to go. And I just loved how like dirty and grungy this fabric looked. Unfortunately, it definitely feels like more wimbly wobbly than a lot of the other fabric I've been working with, and I've noticed that I've had to be a lot more careful with my stitching to make my stitches lay nice, because some are looser. It's hard to get a good tension in this fabric for some reason. I'm not sure. It could be me. So those are the 5 whips I've worked on, and I'm going to be working on the Hobbit door until it's done. I would love to go back and finish that page on Ex Machina. I definitely want to stitch more on Halloween at Hawkrun Hollow, and then I definitely want to get some more work in on Welcome to New York City, which it's Tuesday night right now, and I don't know. Excuse me. I don't know how long the Hobbit door is going to take, and honestly, things could change by the end of this week, so who knows what I'll be working on. I do have an order waiting on order with 123 Stitch that I placed back on the 10th, April 10th, and it hasn't shipped yet, and I'm not sure. I mean, there isn't anything pressing in it. I did finish kitting up some projects with some floss in that order, and then there's some patterns in there. There's one pattern in there that is a definite gift for someone that I would love to start stitching and finishing. But other than that, there's nothing really pressing in the order. So it's the last order that got, you know, it got everything out of me wanting to buy all the things. So we're good for now. Got plenty of things to work on. So I did want to show though, last week I had mentioned that when I bought Welcome to New York City by Country Magic Stitch, I had also purchased a second travel poster, and it is The Mines of Moria. Oh, Jesus, sorry. It's The Mines of Moria, and I would love to stitch this someday. Not anytime soon, but they were having a sale, and I figured I'm here for one. I might as well get a second one that I want. So someday. Very cool. So yeah, so we'll see what we end up with next week. I would love to at least touch on 3 or 4 whips. That would be nice. It'll keep my antsiness appeased. Yeah, so the last week has been insane. Work has been crazy. There's some things in the personal life here that have gotten tipped upside down, and things have just been crazy. So I've been cross-stitching a lot when I can, but work has also been taking all of my brain power. I have to say, though, very serendipitously, I received a surprise package from my stepmom in the mail on Saturday, and inside the package was this little packet of little gummies with CBD oil in them. Each gummy has about 5 milligrams. CBD comes from a hemp plant, and it is not marijuana, but it is very relaxing. And my stepmom sent it to me because several family members have been using it to calm anxiety. And so I tried some, and it really did work. Now, I don't take any kind of medication at all, but I do struggle with anxiety in the normal world all the time. All the time. I'm very high strung, very type A. I overthink everything, and in this climate, it has been off the rails. And work is a normal, stressful time, and having to work from home away from my team, still dealing with the stressful cycle, has been crazy. And so I was taking these gummies, I was taking 2 of them in the morning right before work started, and it just calmed me down just enough to not overthink things, to not feel rushed or pressured when last minute things were coming in, to not dread what was in my email inbox when I first started work. And it was just enough to just take the edge off the anxiety. And so, but unfortunately, there were 10 gummies in this pack, and they are all gone. And so I found a health food store nearby that I was told might have some, because there are a lot of healthy type stores that might have some CBD oil based products, but most of them are topical. It's not common to find a type that you can ingest. So I found this, which each gummy in this one has 10 milligrams. The other one only had 5. So I took one of these before starting filming, and it's just, I love them. They're nice. They're helping me out. That, coupled with drinking a lot of hot tea, has helped me manage my anxiety enough to deal with all of my responsibilities. So I do have to say, love that stuff. If you struggle with anxiety and you're not on medication and you're not able to really, go and talk to a doctor and get that type of situation squared away, if you just need like to take a little edge off, they're really helpful. So just my 2 cents. The other thing I've been doing to kind of help my mental state is we're starting to get into the warm season, the shoulder warm season here in the Arizona desert, where yard work needs to get done. We have the hot season and then the winter season. The winter season, a lot of the plants go dormant or do their own thing and don't need irrigation, and they just can enjoy the balmy wintry weather. Because here the wintry weather is like 50 degrees, so just saying. But as you get into the hot weather, a lot of the landscaping out here, because people don't embrace the desert, require a lot of irrigation and a lot of effort. So I'm renting a house right now, and the front yard and the backyard both have grass. And in Arizona, it takes a lot of effort to maintain grass. So I am learning a lot about how to take care of grass, but being outdoors and taking care of that kind of stuff, cutting the grass, watering the grass, seeding the grass, has helped me feel very productive. And so that's been really nice. I'm also planning to get going on my container flowers. So I'll probably fill up the backyard patio with some bright, fresh flowers, which will be nice. And then I don't have any patio furniture right now, so I'm probably going to go out and get some cheap chairs and a little table for the backyard so I can enjoy it in the mornings before it gets too hot. And then I was talking to my son. I was like, a couple weeks ago now, it's probably 2 or 3 weeks ago, I kept saying that it felt like pool weather. It felt like pool weather. It was in the 80s and breezy, and I'm like, if this were any other timeline, I would be hanging out by the pool. I don't like public pools. I don't like pools where you have to share with others, like in apartment complexes. I won't use those types of pools. But growing up in the Arizona area, my mom and stepdad always had a pool. So I always had a private pool to hang out in. And it's been probably the last 9 years, I think, that I haven't had access to a private pool. But now I'm living in a house, and I at first jokingly told my kiddo that I was going to buy a kiddie pool to hang out in. You know, one of those little 5-footers that are like a foot high, and you just put some hose water in it just to cool off. But it's turned into a serious thought, and I'm probably going to buy some kind of pool for the backyard. Some kind of inflatable, or, you know, just something to like dip in and get wet. You wouldn't be able to swim in it, but so I'm probably going to do that this weekend. So that'll be fun. Anyways, let's see. Another fun fact. At my work, I was provided the opportunity to see if there was any like work equipment that I might need in the coming future when we're finally able to be back in the office. And I have been looking for like just a Logitech webcam for my work setup at work, because I have like a dual monitor setup with a docking station for my laptop. But those monitors don't have a webcam. So when I do virtual meetings at work, I would have to unplug my laptop and just use my laptop so that I can use the webcam on there. So I've been looking for a webcam because I would love to be able to just keep the dual monitor setup and just continue working with 2 screens while I'm in meetings. And you cannot find a decent webcam in the new condition on Amazon for a decent price. There are a couple third parties that are selling webcams for like a jacked up price, or you can find used webcams. And my work won't buy used items, they need to be new. So I'm like, no webcams right now, you guys. That is just a sign of the times. I shouldn't be surprised with everybody. Millions of people who are able to work from home are working from home using Zoom, WebEx, all the things. It's not surprising that Logitech webcams are difficult to find. So I just thought that was funny. because on top of everything else going on, I can't even complete that task. That should have been a super easy thing to get done, and I can't do it. So that's cool. So anyways, I've been watching a lot of Flosstube. I'm still watching Community. I'm on season 3. I've been taking a couple breaks here and there because I cannot binge watch an entire series in one go. Otherwise, I'll just hate it forever. And I've also started rewatching the first season of Gilmore Girls just because I wanted something that was like super wholesome. But yeah, other than that, that's where we're at. That's what we're doing. Finishing up Hobbit Door, and then after that, I am not sure what I'm going to do. I'll probably think of it on the day, in the moment, and do whatever I feel like. So anyways, that's it from me. I hope you have a great rest of your week. Oh! This weekend is the next 24 hours of cross-stitch marathon that Jen Lee puts together. Jen Lee is on Flosstube. You can find her. She's cool. I am going to try to participate this weekend. I'm going to try to do at least 4 hours Friday night, 10 hours on Saturday, and 10 hours on Sunday. And I haven't decided what I'm going to work on during that time. I originally was thinking that I might work monogamously on one piece for 24 hours and take 1 hour pictures, like a picture on the hour every hour, and see what kind of progress I get. But we'll find out. So I will talk to you about that next time, hopefully Monday night, if Monday isn't too much of a butt. But hopefully I will post on Instagram. Yeah, so follow me on Instagram at Vale the Stitcher, and you will probably find progress of 24 hours of cross stitch this weekend. Anyways, have a fun stitchy week. I will see you next week. Bye.